It's the Monday Night Results Show. Just the results, and nothing but the results. From this past weekend's race at your favorite racetracks, if you're looking for a lot of happy talk and fluff, tune into the Disney Channel. And now, the man with a mind for statistics. Unfortunately, those statistics are usually odds on the ponies in Vegas. Mitch, the Dr. Walker.
All right, welcome back. It is the Monday Night Results Show. We are live and loaded, locked, and ready to go. After a week off last week, which we won't go into, but thank you for bearing with me and all those of you who enjoyed the re-air. Stay tuned because we got some more stuff about Cackle Fest coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we're gonna be talking a lot about that. But right now, let's kick the show off like we do each and every week with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, tonight, that holds special meaning because tomorrow is Election Day. And I just want to remind everyone, go out and vote. You know, if you're voting for Trump, you go tomorrow. If you're voting for Clinton, you go on Wednesday. So keep that in mind and vote how you want. It is again, that is, if you're voting for Clinton, that vote goes on Wednesday. If you're voting for Trump, that is tomorrow. So just want to help everybody. And just remember, you know, for so long, people have been talking about WWJD. What would Jesus do? Well, when you get ready to pull that lever or push that button, just remember that and keep that in mind. Also, got some great news on Scott Lumbert, the driver of the Spirit of Texas, the drag boat, who we've been following for quite some time. He has went to the rehab center. He is doing wonderfully, laughing, joking, still has a little bit of trouble talking, but they are working with rehab specialists, getting him back on track. And the doctors say that his progress is way ahead of schedule for a severe brain injury like he had. And his wife is feeling mighty blessed. All right, on tonight's show, we got a bang-up show. We told you a couple of weeks ago that 281 Speedway down in Stevensville, Texas, is coming back. Joe Spillman and Heather Combs are going to be co-promoting. They will be joining us here on the show in just a little bit. Also, Jake Steele with Kalamazoo Track Services, he has got a new project, and we're going to be talking about that. And a little bit later on in the show, local hot shoe driver of the number 00, AJ Carlisi joins us. Probably one of the safest drivers you can ever meet. We're going to be talking with AJ about some things, and we're going to recap the Craig Reese Memorial. Even though it's 2 weeks late, we're still going to recap it. We're going to talk about what's going on. Got a lot of things coming up at Boyd's this weekend. And got some ideas and stuff on some upcoming things that we're going to be talking about. And we will bring those to you in a little bit later on in the show. But I'm just tickled to be back and hope everyone else is too. Don't forget, next week, it'll be the same bat time, same bat channel and all that good stuff. So if you don't have the app downloaded in your phone, get the app for your phone. Performance Motorsports Network. Search your app store, download it, and then set your alarm for every Monday night. Set that repeat where it rings every Monday night at 9:25. That way you've got 5 minutes to get your skinny self over to where you need to be in order to listen to the Monday Night Results Show. But keep that in mind, and tell you what, we're going to jump out of here. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to jump in and start talking about the Craig Reese Memorial from 2 weeks ago. So don't go nowhere. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, exclusive right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today.
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Media sales professionals with agency experience. If you're frustrated with your current position, unrealistic quotas, and inept management, if you're a sales machine and you simply will not take no as an acceptable reply, if you're looking for a rapidly growing company with unlimited sales potential for commissions in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you're searching for a high-tech, forward-looking, laid-back, but extremely professional organization who appreciate your skills and dedication, we have your next opportunity. Scorpion Radio Group is building a sales team of self-starters who are motivated. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444 or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. That's 717-749-0444 and ask for Sue.
COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is a lung disease that robs people of their ability to breathe. As many as 24 million Americans suffer from COPD, also known as chronic bronchitis or emphysema, and half of them don't know they have the disease. If you or someone you love is over 35 and has smoked more than 100 cigarettes in their lifetime, visit driveforcopd.org and take the screener, then take that to your doctor. I'm Jeff Stoltz, and I drive for COPD.
It's the Monday Night Results Show. The name says it all. Now back to your host, the Doctor.
All right, welcome back. You know, we took a short hiatus last week due to some unforeseen circumstances, and I had a lot of stuff I really wanted to cover, but because of what it was, I'm going to cover it tonight. We had last weekend on the 29th, we had the Craig Reese Memorial. I told you that there was going to be some great surprises. Well, two of the surprises, I want to thank Jason Deal from Jason Deal Motorsports over in Copper Hill, Tennessee. He runs a capital car just like Craig Reese did. And when the idea was we came up with the idea, Outlaw, Mark Chapin, who owns Wraps by Outlaw, came up with the idea to wrap a car exactly like Craig Reese's last race. And since Outlaw done the wrap, he had the graphics already set up. All he had to do was print it. And Jason Deal stepped up and said he would be honored to run the replica. So we took the 7 of Jason Deal and turned it into the 74 for that night. Also on hand, which was pretty special to me, Outlaw came up with a tribute wrap. It was done in the familiar green and yellow colors of National Title Pond with the number 74 on it. And on the rear quarters, it said, "In loving memory of Craig Reese." All around the bottom of the car, all the way around it, was pictures of Craig. Some of them in his race car, some of them standing around, some of them goofing off. But they were all pictures of Craig Reese. And the thing that made it especially special for me, all the pictures that were on the car were mine. When Outlaw done the checks, you know, they always do the big 2 foot by 3 foot or 2 foot by 4 foot checks to give the winner. All the photos on that check are mine. And it was a fitting tribute to my buddy who I missed terribly. And I got one of the checks, and I got it sitting here looking at me right now. And I believe that he's smiling after he's seen the race that we put on up at Boyd Speedway. 47 crate cars turned out to start a 24-car race. Now, you think that's a lot of crate cars? Well, turn 47 around. Craig's number was 74. And it was pretty appropriate. Tell you what, let's jump into some results from the Craig Reese Memorial in the B hobbies. Driving the 21B out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, it was Booger Brooks. Lamar Hughes was second. Tommy Gilbert was third. Jim Gilbert was fourth. Fifth was Brandon Francis. Sixth was Charles Williams. Seventh was Clayton Forsythe. Eighth was Junior Pierce. Ninth was Jim Weller. 10th was Scott Bowe. Adrian Williams was 11th, and Sean Grady rounded out the 12-car field. In the A hobbies, it was James Burkhart getting his first win in the 48 car. Logan Walston was in hot pursuit. He got second. Bobby Elkins was third. Greg Tinker was fourth. John Clark was fifth in a new car. Josh Began was sixth. Seventh was Mitch Brady. Chad Anderson was eighth. Matt Leonard was ninth. Derek Franks was 10th. Chris Flood was 11th. Nathan Bowman was 12th. James Marr with a historic 1A number. He was 11th, and Daniel Bible rounded out the 14-car field. That was the A hobbies. Let me skip over to the sportsmen's. In the sportsman division, it was taking it again, the 148 of Booger Brooks. Josh Walker was in hot pursuit, just couldn't catch him. Mike Franks was third. Caleb Patton was fourth. Josh Began was fifth. Sixth was Alex Banks. Jacob Stewart was seventh. Eighth was Matt Williams. Ninth was Corey Lawless. Richard Bailey was 10th. 11th was Evan Wrinkle. Drew Larson was 12th. 13th was Jim Clark. Josh Sneed was 14th. 15th was Brent Clark. Ralph Langston was 16th. Donnie Van Winkle was 17th. Jeff Allen was 18th. 19th was Matt Shockley. Charles Whitehead was 20th. Colton Jackson was 21st. Terry Poor was 22nd. 23rd was Bob Smith. And Jesse O'Shields was 24th. 31 sportsmen showed up to take the green flag. In the limited light models, it was Jason Height in the A19 car takes the win over Justin Litchford. Zach Pilcher, longtime friend of Craig Reese, carrying the number 74 inside his number on the 87 car. He took third. Dan Tipton was fourth. Todd Hernandez was fifth. Andy Miller was sixth. Seventh was Kevin the Axeman Gibson. Drew Kennedy was eighth. Ninth was Brian Jackson. J.T. Seawright was 10th. 11th was Jody Hickson. Brian Burke was 12th. Robbie Hickson was 13th. 14th was Dwayne Dodson. Jimmy Brown was 15th. 16th was Davy Davis. Stephanie Powell was 17th. Jordan Rodabaugh was 18th. And Mac McCarter rounded out the 19-car field. Now, let me go to the crate results. Jeff Smith and Corey Hedgecock started on the front row, took off, and Jeff Smith in the tribute car jumped out to an early lead and led, up to about the 27th or 28th lap. And Corey Hedgecock got under him, went around him, and went on to take the win. So the final results was Corey Hedgecock, Jeff Smith, Ronnie Johnson, Jimmy Elliott was 4th, 5th was John Owenby, Rusty Ballinger was 6th, 7th was Jason Height, Jake Knowles was 8th, Jesse Lowe was 9th, 10th was Chip Brindle, William Thomas was 11th, Ethan Hunter was 12th, 13th was Todd Morrow, Cruz Skinner was 14th, Jason Deal was 15th, Casey Hall was 16th, 17th was Pierce McCarter, Marty Lunsford was 18th, 19th was Wayne Harbin, Anthony White was 20th, Ross White was 21st, 22nd was Jason Trammell, Philip Thompson was 23rd, and Jason Welshin rounded out the 24-car field. And once again, I can't say thank you enough to all the drivers who turned out, the fans that turned out for the trunk or treat type deal. Man, it was we had kids all over the place, candy all over the place. The drivers, the stories that they told, talking about Craig Reese and coming up and sharing all those with me and some of the fans, it made it that much more special. There was a lot of fond memories of Craig, and getting to watch the two tribute cars carry the flag that night, Jason Deal and Jeff Smith, they done Craig proud, and when we first started talking about this, Craig's dad, Larry, he told me, he says, yeah, we can do this, but I want to make it big. I want it big like Craig would have done it. And at the end of the night, I firmly believe that Craig would have been proud, because we had a huge crowd, over 100 and almost 100. It was over 130 cars showed up in all the divisions, and the grandstands were full. The simulator car was going, man. It was a big time for everybody, and there was a lot of good times and memories shared. And I think it was a huge success. Cody McCarver came down and sang the national anthem, hung out with us a little bit in the booth, and Cody and I talked about it. Had a costume contest, and we named Cody one of the judges, and there was like 35 kids that showed up in costume, and Briley Owens was the winner, and she got $50. Cody looked down through there, and he says, man, he said, all them kids is good. He said, tell you what, every one of them who came in costume, go down to the National Title Pond tent, and I will have you an autographed CD down there. So Cody gave away CDs to all the kids. It was great, because Cody was one of Craig's sponsors, and to hear Cody sing the national anthem and all the drivers turned out, it was a great time. And I think Craig would have been proud. And I know that his mom and dad were, and his mom and dad asked me to thank all of the fans who showed up and all of the drivers who showed up and made this the success that it was. Thanks to each and every one of you, from Larry and Annette Reese, and from me, myself, I want to thank you personally. It was a lot of fun, and there was quite a few tears shed, but there was a lot of smiles to follow them and wash them away with. So we had a good time, and looking forward to doing it again next year. The night wasn't even over, and we were already starting to look forward to planning the second annual Craig Reese Memorial that we'll be doing again next year at Boyd's. And hopefully we can get a little bit bigger turnout, and who knows, may turn it into a 2-day event. But speaking of 2-day events, we've got all the details for the big Schaefer Bonus Series race coming up this Saturday, Friday and Saturday at Boyd's. We'll be getting all those details out to you here in just a little bit. So keep that in mind and don't go nowhere, because, man, we got a lot of stuff we're going to be covering tonight. We've got Jake Steele coming up here after a while. Joe and Heather are going to be on from 281 Speedway. And then later on in the show, AJ Carlisi is going to join us, and we're going to talk a little bit to him and see what all he's got going on this year and coming up into next year. And I think that the show's going to be chock full tonight. We've got some other things we're going to be talking about a little bit later on. So I want everyone to hang out, because I'm going to need some listener input later on in the show, and we're going to be asking some serious questions. And we want to hear all the listeners. We want to hear your input and what you think about it. So stick around and don't go nowhere. All right, we're going to jump out and take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll jump into some other stuff. And, man, we've got all kinds of things going on. So don't worry about it. Just sit tight, put them headphones in just a little bit tighter, and we'll keep you going here in just a little bit. All right, it's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend.
My brother.
My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father.
My husband.
My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication, but it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
It's the Monday Night Results Show, the internet radio show that gives you the results from your favorite racetracks. And that's it. If you're looking for a lot of happy talk and fluff, go watch NASCAR coverage on Fox TV. Now, here's the Doctor.
Just want to remind you, if you're going to be voting, all Trump voters vote tomorrow. All Clinton voters vote on Wednesday. Republicans vote on the 8th. Democrats vote on the 9th. Because there's so many people out there voting, they didn't want to get it all mixed up. So just so you know. All right. I told you that we were going to have some of the updates coming up this weekend. It has been named the Gobbler. Up at Boyd Speedway, $10,000 to win super late model race. we've got some of the details. All right, let's first do the Sportsman's. Sportsman's will be running the 18th and the 19th. Friday night on the 18th, it will be hot laps and heat races. Drivers meeting will be 6:30. Pits open at 3. $30 pit pass, children under 12, $10. Grandstands open at 4. $15 for adults. Children 12 and under are free. After the night's activities, there will be a pit party with a live band. So keep that in mind. Saturday, there will be hot laps, B mains, and the feature event will pay $1,000 to the sportsman driver who takes home the big money. That is on Saturday. Friday night, hot laps and heats. Saturday will be hot laps, B mains, and feature. So anybody who had driver's meeting will be at 5 o'clock on Saturday. It will be at 6:30 on Friday. That's for the sportsmen's, just the sportsmen's. If you have any questions regarding this, there's a post on Boyd Speedway's Facebook page under Sportsman's. If there's any questions about Sportsman's, please post the questions there. So slide on over there. Now, also on Saturday, just on Saturday, the mini mods roll into Boyd Speedway. They will hot lap, heat race, and feature $400 to the winner. That is for Saturday on the mini mods. Any questions? There is a category, a thread on the Boyd Speedway page for the mini mods. On the A hobbies, okay, A hobbies will only run Saturday. A hobbies only run Saturday. Hot laps, heat race, and feature $400 to win for the A hobbies. On the B hobbies, you will only run Friday. Hot laps, heat races, and feature $300 to win. That is Friday for the B hobbies. So keep that in mind. Live pit party after Friday's events with a live band. So make sure that you come on out to Boyd Speedway this Friday and Saturday night. There will be a practice on Thursday. I don't have I was looking for the details on the practice. I'm not seeing them. Maybe they are on this other page, but it's going to be a big race. Steelheads will run on Saturday. Now, the super late models will qualify on Friday. Now, some of the things I've heard some of these steelhead drivers talking about is they are going to come out Thursday or Friday night and see if they can qualify to make the big show. If they don't, then they can come back on Saturday and run the steelhead show. So there will not be steelheads on Thursday or on Friday night. No steelheads on Friday night. So just mark it down in your little calendar there, and it will be the Southern Nationals bonus series. $10,000 to win coming up this weekend. It's going to be a big weekend. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we hope each and every one of you can come on out to Boyd Speedway this coming weekend. Now, let me get back over here to my right page. I'm still trying to find, well, I thought I had it in there. But again, I just want to remind everybody, so everybody knows, B hobbies will only run Friday night. Hot laps, heat races, and feature on Friday night. Okay? Friday night, transponder rental is free to B hobbies only. Okay? So on Saturday, A hobbies will race. So A hobbies on Saturday, B hobbies on Friday. Remember, Boyd's has a curfew. We have to abide by the curfew. So what we're doing is splitting these guys up and letting them, they're both going to get a big feature. B Hobbies will be on Friday night. A Hobbies will be on Saturday night, because there is so much going on the on the 18th and 19th. Just want to clear that up. If I said this weekend, I didn't mean this weekend. I meant the 18th. I meant this weekend of the race. I didn't mean like this coming weekend. Okay. Thanks to my listeners for keeping me honest and keeping me straight. I do have my calendar in front of me. It's just sometimes my tongue gets wrapped around my eye tooth and I can't see what I'm saying. But there's a pit party with a live band after Friday night's race. So after all the events are over, there will be a pit party. So when you come Friday night, come ready to party. Boyd's now has their beer license. They will be selling beer. So, and for those of you that don't drink, we have a section just for you, the main grandstands. For those of you that do want to indulge in an adult beverage, Turn 4 Beer Garden is going to be wide open and rocking and rolling down there. So come on down and join the fun. And then after all the activities, all the racing activities are done and over with, we will have a party. Going to have a band set up down there. Going to be playing some music. Going to be, who knows, they might even be some people down there shaking their groove thing. But it's going to be a place to be this week, the weekend of the 17th and 18th and 19th. Just want to keep that straight. It's not this coming weekend. It's the following weekend. So just keep it in mind. 17th will be a Thursday. That is a practice. The 18th is Friday. That will be all divisions except A Hobby. A Hobby will be on Saturday. B Hobbies race on Friday. A Hobbies race on Saturdays. So don't show up Friday night with your A Hobby car wanting to race. Not going to happen. You will race on Saturday night. B Hobbies, don't come back on Saturday night thinking you're going to get to race then too. Not going to happen. B Hobbies race on Friday night. Okay, got all that. Now, there's been some talk about the National 100 down at East Alabama Motor Speedway. There was a ton of drivers showed up down there. Your super late model champion is Dennis Erb Jr., and he put it on them down there, put on a strong showing. In the crates, it was Terrence Knoll taking the win. In the hobby stocks, it was Jason Price. In the sportsman's, it was Mark Whitener. And in the street stocks, it was Stephen Pate. And the super streets, it was Clint Smith. Yes, super late model driver, Clint Smith. What has been a point of contention is a lot of these super late model drivers showing up with 5 or 6 cars and running all the different divisions. Most of your racetracks, I say most of them. I didn't say all of them. I said most of them in the South have a rule that once you step up, you don't come back down that season. And for a super late model driver to step down to, say, Super Street and run, a lot of people are raising a stink about it. The Clint Smith fans say that it's a good deal, that everybody gets to run against Cat Daddy, and, if you beat them, you beat them. If you don't, then you run second to them or third to them. My thing is with this, it's the same way about NASCAR. I don't like the Cup drivers stepping down and running in the Truck Series. I don't like them stepping down and running in the Xfinity Series. If they're a rookie in the Cup Series and they haven't raced that racetrack, I can understand them racing the Xfinity Series to get some experience on the track before they go to the Cup race on Sunday. I'm okay with that. But as far as, like, you take drivers like Kyle Busch stepping down from Cup to run the Xfinity or the Truck Series, I'm not a fan of that. Just like I'm not a fan of Clint Smith running in Super Street. Now, while it's within the rules, East Alabama Motor Speedway allowed it. So it's not like he done something illegal. My point is, there were enough cars there. Why? Why does he feel the need to step down? That's taking somebody with a whole lot of experience and putting them in the field with a bunch of guys that are, now, true, some of them have been racing quite some time, but they're racing within their budget. That's what their budget allows, is Super Street. A lot of these guys are busting their butt to work day in, day out to get their car ready to go down there and feel like they're being competitive. When they have to run against super late model drivers that step down into their class, that's a little push to me. I mean, it's, like I said, I understand that it's all within the rules. He didn't do nothing wrong. It wasn't like he was illegal. But I just feel that, if you really want to make it special, make it all Super Street drivers. Don't let the super late model drivers step down. There's enough of them that step from supers into crates and run, both races. But I think that once you step up to super late model, that you should be locked into super late model from then on, unless you sign up to run the full season in a Super Street. But that is my opinion. Can't do nothing about it. I'm just stating my opinion on it because I know there is a ton of people who are tore up about Clint Smith stepping all the way down to Super Street. And, you know how Facebook is with all the Facebook drama and everybody lighting it up. They have taken, and I think they've got it blown quite a bit out of proportion, but it is something that should be addressed in the future. Of course, in my dealings, East Alabama Motor Speedway is not real concerned with what people think. They do what they want to do, and they do it how they want to do it. And if that's the way they want to run a racetrack, that's their prerogative. It's their racetrack. Until I take my money down there and take over, they can run it how they want to. But this is my radio show, and I can voice my opinion here just like I want to. So that's what I did. It's my opinion. Opinions are like other parts of your anatomy. Everybody's got one, and they all stink. But I think there's a lot better ways to draw a crowd than there is putting super late model drivers in lower classes. It just don't sit well with me. I mean, there's too much that drivers can do. They get out there, they put their butt on the line each and every week, and they go down there to East Alabama to run the National, and they want to do the best they can. And then they go down there and they're running against the stacked deck. It's just I think it kind of sucks myself, but congratulations to Clint Smith on his Super Street champion, on his Super Street win. And he came from 9th to come up and finish in the top. And let me run through the rundown real quick if I can see this. It's kind of small. Dennis Erb was your winner. Tim McCready. Third was, let me see if I can make this bigger. Yes, I can. Tim McCready was second. Brandon Overton taking over for Randy Weaver, who has retired. He was third. Darrell Lanigan was fourth. Fifth was Don O'Neill. Casey Roberts was sixth. Chris Madden was seventh. Scott Bloomquist was eighth. Ninth was Dale McDowell. Jonathan Davenport was 10th. Jason Height was 11th. 12th was Devin Moran. Ivident Lloyd Jr. was 13th. 14th was Dylan Ames. Tristan Seeley was 15th. Eric Cooley was 16th. Shane Clanton was 17th. Brian Ligon was 18th. 19th was Chase Youngins. Kyle Bronson was 20th. Robert Stevens was 21st. Kenny Collins was 22nd. Joey Armistead was 23rd. And Austin Smith rounded out the 24-car field. All right. That is how that all shook out. And tell you what, that's my thing on for the National 100. We're going to step out, take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I believe we're going to have a young man joining us. So don't go nowhere. Sit tight. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the doctor, exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Racing is all about winning. But hey, the second place guy has family too, getting you all the results from your favorite racetracks. Now back to the Monday Night Results Show with the Doctor.
Welcome back. Just want to clarify something. I did get it in there just a minute ago. I found it. Thursday night's practice will be at 3 o'clock. Gates open at 3, drivers meeting at 6, and then they're going to start 8-lap practice sessions, and they will go and go and go until they decide to quit or 11:30 rolls around, whichever comes first. All right. Joining me on the show right now from Kalamazoo, Michigan, the Kalamazoo Track Services guy himself, Mr. Jake Steele. Jake, how we doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me back, Mitch.
Hey, man, anytime, man. You have been a busy man, busy this past couple of weeks, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a busy season, and thought we were wrapping it up for the year, and just picked up a lot more steam already for 2017, so we're looking forward to it.
All right. Now, for those of you that don't know, I shared a video yesterday on Facebook of a car, well, part of it's a car anyway, of a rollover machine that we had the man who put this whole thing into gear last year, Paul LaPere. We had him on the show talking about it, and this mantle, this torch, has been passed down to Jake Steele and his bunch up there. They are taking over the operations of this machine, and they have some plans for this rollover machine to help train drivers, don't you, Jake?
Yep. Yeah, our plan is pretty ambitious. We're hoping to get to as many as 15, 20 tracks this summer, let drivers experience this. It's something that Paul had a lot of passion into, and it touched close to his heart. And, we want to make sure we carry on that legacy and get it in the Midwest and expose some drivers to what it feels like to roll over in a situation like that.
Well, one of the things that I remember about Paul when we had him on the show, he was talking about it, and the thing that got him started in it was his daughter's fiance who was racing, who flipped his car one night, had no flapper valve in his fuel cell, and lost his life that night on the racetrack. And this machine was a result of that incident. It was Paul's way of giving back to the sport and trying to ensure that no other person ever had to go through what him, his wife, and his family and his daughter had to go through that night.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's something that we looked into in spring and started talking to Paul, and Paul had the desire to get us, the opportunity to get it to Michigan. So we sent some of the crew from Kalamazoo Speedway. We sent them over there to New Mexico to pick it up, and really hope to carry on that legacy that he has started, and hopefully change some drivers' lives.
Well, the thing that I remember, I tried to go back and find his interview, and I don't remember. I couldn't find it, to be honest with you. But one of the things I remember is Paul always said that when he put drivers in the car, he would put them in there, get them all buckled up, suited up with their helmet on, their steering wheel, their Hans device, whatever safety devices they used. He would ask them, which position is your car going to land in when you flip it? And drivers always look at him like, well, how the hell should I know that? And he said, exactly. And he would turn the machine on. And then he would just, whatever flipped his trigger that day, whether it was 3 rolls and a bounce, or a bounce and 3 rolls, bounce and 4 rolls, but stop the car in a unique position, something other than wheels on the ground, and tell the driver to get out. Drivers don't understand how, if you've never been upside down, you don't understand how disorienting that is and how hard it is to remember, what you have to do to get out. I think more drivers need to practice getting in and out of their car in a hurry. And I think it would make you a safer driver in the long run. Don't you agree?
100%. I haven't spent a lot of time in a race car, but the first thing we did when we got it here was our whole safety crew is buckled up in it, and we've tried it a bunch of different ways, on its side, upside down, really kind of shaking them up as much as possible. And every one of us got out of there with a whole new appreciation for just how hard it is. The biggest thing is, you get upside down, start getting the stuff out of your way, the steering wheel, the window net. But as soon as you stop upside down, it takes you a second to regain your compass and, figure out what you got to do, even though in your head you're saying it the whole time you're practicing this. So I can't imagine as a driver, out there on a Friday night, Saturday night, trying it, without, that being in their head as they're rolling. So, I think it's an awesome training tool. And, we've had a lot of people questioning, like, hey, how much is it going to cost? And, for us, we're not looking to make money. Like I said, if we save one driver's life because this rollover simulator helped them, come the real situation, it's paid its full to us.
Well, the thing is, Jake, it's when you talk about it, no driver getting in a race car intends to roll over. That's not the only thing a race car driver thinks about when he gets in that seat and pulls those belts tight, pulls that helmet on, is how quick he can get to the front of the field and make his way as far forward as he can, as quick as he can. And that's racing. You go out to win. You don't go out there to wreck, and you don't go out there to flip, especially. And when you get faced with that, and you realize that is something that happens on a regular basis. I mean, they had it at the Nationals, the National 100 in Alabama this past weekend. They had a car get upside down, and when you experience that and you understand how disorienting it is, it makes training or being prepared, being better prepared, all that much more important. And you'll put a little bit extra effort into it, and sometimes that little bit of extra effort is all that you need.
Yeah, yep. And that's why, 2016 was a transition year for me, as taking over the safety crew. My goal really was just to get through the season without messing up and keep the good name that KTS has. During the summer, I talked with Kaiser, my counterpart. He's done it for 24 years, and we decided that 2017 needs to be focused on education. I mean, obviously, our first and primary goal on Friday nights or whatever night we have to be racing is the driver safety, but we really want to help educate and promote safety. And like you and I have discussed so many times, and kind of demanding that safety goes number one again. It's kind of gone on the back seat. Drivers are worried about saving a tenth here and there. They don't think about the safety as much. And sometimes track safety crews aren't up to par where they should be, and that's what we've seen a lot of in videos and stuff that surfaced on the internet this last year. So that was part of our goal. Is 2017 is going to be an educational year, and we want to be able to be a resource to any safety crew, any driver, track promoter. And I can tell people, we're not going to tell you our way is the right way, but we're going to tell you how we do it. And if you have a better way, we're willing to try it. We go around a lot of tracks and watch how they do it, and we do adapt different methods, and likewise, other tracks have adapted methods from us. So that's one of our big goals for our spring training this year is get as many drivers there as we can. We're going to try and make it driver-oriented as well as safety crew-oriented. So there's going to be, stations and activities for drivers as well as safety crews in our spring training.
Well, I think one of the things that drivers have failed to focus on in the past, and Gary McCullough with Track Pro Safety Team and me and yourself, we have all discussed this over and over. And I wish more drivers would do it in the off season. If nothing else, just practice getting out of your car with it sitting on its wheels. These cars have gotten kind of ridiculous as far as the way you have to get in and out of cars. And, if you have to get out of the car in a hurry, you want to be able to do it second nature. You don't want to have to stop and think about it, because every second that you're stopping and thinking, and there could be another part of your body that's burning.
Right. That's something that, is definitely in our mind, and like I said, the drivers, they get to the track and they have a one-track mind sometimes, no pun intended there, but they want to get the car off and they want to do the fastest lap and they want to get to the finish line as quick as they can. And that's kind of another reason that, I'm, trying to promote this as soon as possible, give the guys this winter to think about it while they're in their garage building, and maybe they'll take an extra minute to, add a safety feature. And, some drivers, they say it's too expensive, but they'll go spend a lot of money on something to speed them up a little bit. And, we're just hoping, some drivers, put some money into safety over the winter and think about that. And our owner, he's a former late model driver himself. And even he said, 20 years ago, he was something that he had in the back of his mind was rolling over. And the wintertime when they had a bare chassis in the shop, they would actually roll it over with him inside of it and, practice. So that was something he was trying 20 years ago, Ours is a little bit, more sophisticated, obviously, so we can repeat it over and over again, with a hand control. So, like I said, if the drivers can give us 5 minutes, we might be able to help them out in the long run.
Well, years ago, the CRA, the California Racing Association, used to do that very thing. They had a bare Stanton chassis that Gary Stanton donated just for that purpose. They would take rookies who were coming into their first year in sprint cars. They would put them in the car, and then 10 or 12 people would slowly roll the car over on its side, stand it up on its hood or on its lid, and then they would tell the driver to get out. And they would stand there and work with them and kind of school you on it. And, if we would have had something like what you've got back then, it would have sure sped the process up. But as it was, we all got to experience what it was like getting out. But the first time I got on my lid, first thing I smelled methanol. And my fear was never really flipping, but my fear was always burning. And I smelled the methanol, and I knew that there was a lot of hot body parts. And I didn't pay attention to what orientation I was in, that I was upside down. And the first thing I done was hit the release button on my harness, and boom, my fat self landed on my head and jammed my neck. And if you don't have training, if you don't at least have the intelligence or the wherewithal to realize, hey, I'm upside down, I've got to brace myself, or I'm upside down, I've got to take this precaution. And if you've never been there, you can't understand what it's like. But once you get there, you'll start thinking about it. And I think that's what this machine brings to the table, is it gives the drivers a chance to get upside down and have to get out of their car without destroying their car while they're doing it.
Exactly. And the nice thing is, we can have it at, like you said, any angle we want. We can turn them as much as we want. And we can add some, some other things in there, and help them, see what happens if the window net gets caught or a steering wheel doesn't come loose right away. Another thing that, I haven't mentioned yet, but another aspect of this is the safety crews can also train on this. So we can strap a driver in there, and safety crews can go up to the simulator and actually get real hands-on experience pulling a driver out of a car upside down, where you're not worried about the injuries on, this test. You can figure out the right ways to do it. So when you do have a driver that's upside down that you have to take out, the best way to do it without causing more injury than need be.
And plus, the safety crews themselves can actually get in the car and experience it firsthand. That is a valuable tool in itself. If the safety crew knows what it feels like to be in that car upside down, getting someone out of that car, it helps them communicate to the driver in an emergency situation. It's like, hey, man, I've been there. I know what you're going through. Bear with me.
Exactly, and that was something that Paul said, when we went to pick it up. He's like, hey, make sure your safety crew does this. And I said, it's just not even an option. It's a requirement. I believe our safety crew, anytime we can get a real-life scenario like that they need to experience it. So, and it wasn't hard to get my guys in there. They were all fighting their turn to, try it out first. So, and that's what I'm kind of hoping is this summer we can have fastest time to get out for the night, get the T-shirt or, some kind of prizes to give the driver some incentive to, hey, take 5 minutes away from, what you're doing and just come over, try it out, try and beat your buddy's time in the simulator and make it a little competitive, but do it the right way. There's an order that you need to do it. And again, when it comes to real life situation, hopefully that competitiveness in them really helps speed that process up and saves further injury than need be.
That's right. Now we're up again. We're getting ready to. I'm gonna have to let you go. But Jake, I know that you can't do this all by yourself, and that you guys are actively looking for some sponsorship to make this happen. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you if somebody out there wants to sponsor this, wants to get on board with this and help out. How can they get a hold of you?
The easiest way would be go to Kalamazoo Track Services Facebook page. It's the verified one. Just send me a message. I'm up pretty much around the clock. I usually respond right away. And, yeah, we're looking for anybody that wants to help out any way possible. You know, like I said, we want to travel the Midwest with this. And, obviously, you know, we're putting some of our own money into it, but need some sponsorship money to help with fuel and maintenance. And you know, some other things we want to add to this. So, like I said, find us on Facebook, like our page, and send me a message with questions, comments, concerns, anything, you know, relating to this.
All right. That's Kalamazoo Track Services, the official one. Go check them out.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit the like button. And I dare everybody to go hit their page and put on there, the doctor sent me.
I would appreciate that.
All right, man. Jake, hey, man, good luck to you guys. And do me a favor. When you get your schedule worked out to where you're going to be, send it to me, and we will keep all the listeners up to date on if some of the drivers want to go out there and try it out. When you get your schedule laid out, we will keep everybody aware of where you're going to be with it. And if they're close by, they can go check it out themselves and take a whirl in the rollover machine.
I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jake Steele with Kalamazoo Track Services. They work Kalamazoo Speedway up there, and guess where? Kalamazoo, Michigan. These guys, they got a good program going. And if you got a few extra bucks you want to chip in to help out, this would be a great place to do it. Those guys are working, trying to make racing that much safer. So keep them in mind. That's Kalamazoo Track Services, the official page. Go check them out and hit the like button and help a racer out. Remember, racers helping racers. All right, we're going to jump out, take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about 281 Speedway, so don't go nowhere. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas, then get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
You're listening to the Monday Night Results Show. Back-to-back results, and that's it. You want half-naked girls, singing, and sound effects? Go watch American Idol. Now, here's the doctor.
All right, welcome back. There is every show we do, it seems like there is a racetrack closing somewhere. And with the takeover of Sugar Creek and Blue Ridge Motorsports Park opening this past weekend for their first race, we are tickled to death to announce that down in Texas, 281 Speedway is coming back, and we got the promoters on the line right now. Joining me, Mr. Joe Spillman and Heather Combs. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm finer than a frog hair split 3 ways and sanded. Joe, yourself?
Oh, pretty good. You know, just excited and ready to start racing.
Now, I'm not going to leave her out. Now, Heather, I know that you're an integral part of this, and you have been working your little fingers down to the nubs trying to make all this happen too. How are you looking at next year?
I'm super excited about next year. I mean, I think that this is a great racetrack, and I'm ready to bring it back up to family fun every Saturday night.
Now, how long has this track been sitting?
The track opened in '89. They've just been running a limited schedule. So last year, I believe they were able to get 4 races in. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, they raced 8 races the year before, and then 4 races this past year.
And you guys are bringing it back, and you've got a full schedule planned.
Yeah, I used to race at this track when they raced week in and week out, and it's a fun little track. It's a tight little bull ring, and the promoter he's busy, and the owner, and so they cut the schedule back to 8 the last few years, and then this past year with all the rain, they only got 4 races in. So we've been looking for a track, for a while to promote. And then we kind of talked to this guy and made a deal on it.
Well, I know that taking on a racetrack is a daunting task. And if somebody would have told me 10 years ago that I would have played a part in a couple of racetracks coming back to life and getting cars in the pits and fans in the stands, I would have laughed at them. And now that I've been a part of it, I've seen the hard work that goes in. I've seen the effort that it takes. And you wonder about things, that you would never wonder about. And the thing that has always got me is when you get ready for your first night of racing, how many hot dogs do you order?
Yeah,
really and truly, how many
Go ahead,
hot dogs?
It is an unknown, and you just kind of give it your best shot and hope for the best and make sure everybody's happy.
Well, now, I tell you, you want to make some people mad, run out of hot dogs.
Well, we thought about that, but our theory is hot dogs freeze, so we're going to order a lot. And by God, if we got too many, then we'll have more next week. And if we run out, then we know that we should have ordered even more.
There's just so many variables, that goes into making a racetrack work. And it's things that the normal person don't really understand. And when you look at it, and when you got people like you two that are coming out and you're coming right off the rip saying, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give this our best shot. Bear with us. And you come out right off the rip thinking outside the box. I like that. I shared your schedule here in Georgia this past weekend, and I said, it's thinking outside the box from a promoter's standpoint like this that makes a track successful. And to see you guys doing that right off the rip, man, that just tickles me to death. I was tickled to see that.
Well, that's all, Heather. I've always said I can get the cars in the pits. I can make, maybe with some practice, make the track smooth and racy, but I don't have a clue of how to get people in the stands. And Heather comes from a background of promoting and advertising and marketing sporting events and soccer and whatnot, and the outside the box is really all her. She definitely has come up with stuff, and I've had to learn to just kind of stand back and trust her on that, because I'm the first to say, well, that won't work, because I'm thinking from a racer's point of view. And finally, after about 5 times of her telling me to shut up, I've realized that, she's right, So I'll worry about getting the pits full, and she'll worry about getting the stands full.
Well, Joe, that shows that the ability to work together, even if she does have to hit you in the head a couple of times to get you to listen, the fact that you're willing to listen goes a long way. Now, you both know my buddy himself, Mr. Larry Kaler, has sent me a question for you two. And he said, we talked about hot dogs, but how many beers do you have to order?
That's an easy one. We don't have a liquor license, so we have to order 0.
There you go. Okay,
you'll
Larry,
have to
there's
bring your own.
BYOB, bring your own beer. There you go, Larry. Now, see, we were gonna get Larry on the show with you guys, but we have pulled out all the stops tonight on getting guests on, and I'm kind of at my limit, so. Larry didn't get cut. He just got moved to another show. We'll bring him back. He's been on before, and it's always good to have somebody with experience that's jumping in there. And with you two, Joe, you own an excavating company. You know about moving dirt, and Heather, she comes from a PR background. Bringing people in and promoting. You two seems like a good. I don't want to say marriage, but seems like a good combination between the two of you in getting everything together. And, you two have got what it takes to make a racetrack work.
Oh, yeah. We've known each other for about 10 years. She was a real estate agent selling houses, and I was doing the work on the houses when we met 10 years ago. So we worked together in a working environment. And the hardest thing, like I said earlier, is me letting go and trusting her to do stuff that she knows how to do.
Now, Heather, I got.
We're really good at balancing.
Now, Heather, I got to ask this: what's the hardest part about dealing with Joe Spillman?
Getting him to hold still. We really don't have any problems working with each other. We're really good about bouncing ideas off of each other and looking at the positive and the negative and the what ifs, and we really balance each other out. And I think that this is what's going to attract racers and fans to the racetrack. We're going to be up front, in the stands, out in the pits, everywhere, saying hi and just being a part of the community altogether. And again, we just work really well together. We always have, and I think that this is just going to be fantastic.
Well, I'm not no horse person. I don't claim to be. The only horses I know about are usually under the hood of a race car. But I do know there's this one little tool that a lot of horse people use that might work on Joe. It's called a hobble. You know, you just hobble his legs together and then stick a stake in the ground, and you don't have to. That way he'll hold still for you while you hit him in the head.
That's awesome.
Now,
That's
Joe,
enough. I think our time is up now. Thank you.
I need all the. I need. I might pay for some extra ideas.
There you go. Now, you know, I know one thing that you guys have kind of got you started was doing these enduros, and you guys have put on a couple of enduros, and you're kicking off your season with an enduro, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Our second year.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, both of you can't say go ahead. Joe, your turn.
We never talk over each other.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, you know, the enduros kind of made a comeback here in Texas, and the Lone Star 600 that Brad Dixon and Jack Barfield put on, and you know, they really took promoting, I don't want to say to the next level, but back to where it really should have been. And we kind of saw that last year and said, you know, we could do that on our level too. You know, let's look at doing a deal with an enduro and renting a track. And we did the one in February, the Super Saturday 200, and it was a huge success. Everybody was very happy. There was a lot of people there, a lot of cars there. We did it again in July. We had some obstacles to overcome. A lot of other races going on for July 4th, the Texas Heat. You know, it's 103 when we start this thing, and 200 laps later, you know, it's just brutal. So the turnout wasn't as good then, but we learned some lessons and what to do and what not to do. And then when this opportunity to promote a track came up, we kind of just jumped on it. It's one of those things we didn't really have to ask each other. It came up, we're like, yes, you know, let's go.
Well, you know, when I can relate to that because, you know, we were sitting up at Boyd's, me and Kenny Slayton and a couple of the guys were sitting up there, a little over a month ago. And we said, well, you know, we've got October the 29th as an open date. And, you know, if we could come up with a race for that. And, you know, this past February, I lost my best friend, Craig Reese, and to a heart attack and 35 years old. And, you know, he was at the prime of his life racing and doing what he does best. And we lost him. And all summer long, I had been thinking, you know, I'd like to do a Craig Reese memorial. And when they said October the 29th is an open date, I just said, well, hey, how about the Craig Reese memorial? And 45 minutes later, it went from a 2,500 to win race to a 3,500 to win race. And we had 47 crate cars show up to make a 24 car field. So, you know, I know how things come together when you know, when it's meant to be, it just comes together.
Yeah, it's pretty nice when it falls together like that. Of course, there's obstacles and things to work over and work through, but when it just makes sense, it's just like, well, why not, you know? And I guess, you know, I get a little frustrated. Racing in Texas is not racing in Nebraska or Kansas or Iowa. It's kind of, you know, the stepchild. And I get frustrated because we race all throughout, from South Texas to Boone and Stewart and Benton, Iowa, and we see, you know, the really good ideas and we see the really bad ideas, and it just got irritating when we would see a track doing something and recommend, hey, you know, they're doing this up there and it works, and then just get told no, it won't work, or yes, this is the way we're doing it, and we're like, that's the worst idea ever. And then after just being told, well, if you're so smart, why don't you just run your own track a few times? And I guess we're going to try it. You know, we may be setting ourselves up for a huge headache, but it's our headache. So here we go.
Well, you know, I tell you what, Joe, I tell you what I'm going to do. We are working on a few things for next year. for the Monday Night Results Show. And I haven't let none of this out of the bag. So you guys are going to be first on the list. We are going to be doing a weekly segment coming up next year of previews of racetracks across the country. We're going to be talking about what is coming up, say, at 281 Speedway this Friday night or this Saturday night. And we are going to put the first track down on our list to be a regular participant as 281 Speedway. And if you guys will make sure that I get on your mailing list and get me the results every weekend, we will do what we can to get your results in on the show as well. And we will do our best to help you promote things going down there in the Lone Star State.
Oh, that'd be awesome. We appreciate that. And that's the other thing is there's so many of these outlets, such as yourself, such as Facebook, such as Twitter, that tracks can use that costs nothing. It costs nothing to do, just a little time and effort. And we can go back and look at tracks and have results posted from July 12th. Why are things not updated? Why are things not utilized to help promote the track and help to promote the racers? And a little effort, a little time spent, I think, it gets the word out. It gets people involved. It gets the racers involved. It gets the community involved. And we really appreciate an outlet such as yourself that helps us out with that.
Well, I tell you one thing. Now you mentioned that outlets working together and trying to promote each other and help each other and working for free. I don't work for free because it's been a couple of years since I've been to Texas. Last time I come to Texas, it got rained out. So I'm due another Texas trip. So I'm going to make sure that I put 281 on my list of places to go.
Absolutely. Just let us know and we'll find you a place to stay and come on down.
Hey, we'll make it happen. Man, we're up against a commercial break, but Joe, Heather, best of luck to you guys in the coming season, and keep me posted on what's going on. You get another big announcement, let me know, and we'll schedule a segment and get you back on because it's all about my little hashtaggy thing, racers helping racers.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thanks for having us on, having me on again, and having Heather on. She doesn't get to talk much because I do most of the talking, but she appreciates it.
Hey, next time, Heather, I'll just have you on. We'll leave Joe somewhere else.
Oh, I don't know if he wouldn't be able to handle that.
We'll hobble him. All right.
Okay.
Joe Spillman, Heather Combs, thanks so much. The new promoters at 281 Speedway, Stevensville, Texas, down there, they're going to be kicking it off this coming year. Check them out and stop by and say hi. All right, we're going to jump out, take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, who knows what we've got going on. So stick around. Don't go nowhere. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift. and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
This is Paul Stanley from KISS for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. Some of us work months producing a CD, but in less time than it takes to play it, someone will be killed in an alcohol-related crash. So please don't drive when you've been drinking. Plan ahead. Arrange a designated driver. Remember, friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, your authority on motorsports of all types. Be listening for the most accurate and up-to-the-minute coverage of every motorsports activity that you enjoy on a daily basis. Be it NASCAR, be it IRL, be it Formula One, be it drag racing, be it dirt track, off-road, props, hulls, whatever. We are your source for motorsports. Performance Motorsports Network.
This is Joey Logano, driver of NASCAR number 22 Discount Tire Car. You know something? You and I aren't all that different. I drive a car, you drive a car. My car has tires, your car has tires. I may be going just a little faster than you each weekend, but we both need to keep those tires properly inflated to stay safe. So be tire smart and do your part. Check your tire pressures once a month and before every long journey.
Visit betiresmart.org. A message from the Rubber Manufacturers Association.
You're listening to the Monday Night Results Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Racing information at its best. And now back to the Doctor of Statistics.
All right, moving right along, man. Tonight is absolutely flying by. And speaking of flying, joining me right now on the show, driver of the number 00, crate car running around here around the Northwest Georgia area, Mr. AJ Carlisi. AJ, how we doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I'm finer than a frog hair split 3 ways and sanded. I'm just wound up and ready to go.
Oh, yeah, now, it's good to be on with you tonight.
Hey, not a problem. Now, you know, a lot of people who listen to my show regularly, we have talked about you on quite a few occasions, and then I honestly been trying to get with you to get you on the show for this very reason. I know you are probably one of the safer drivers that I know of. Now, when I say that, I'm not talking about your driving style. I'm talking about safety equipment wise. You put a lot of effort into your safety program, don't you?
Yes, we do. We always try to stay up on that and just always prepare for the worst. That way there's nothing to worry about whenever that time does come.
I know that, you know, we just had Jake Steele on a couple of segment before last, and he was talking about the rollover machine that they have just gotten, and they're going to be traveling up around Michigan and some of the northern racetracks. Getting in and out of a race car is one of the things that is paramount to driver safety, and I think that's your approach to it is staying up on top of it and keeping up to date on some of the newer things that comes out, and to make your program as safe as it can be. I think that's a feather in your cap that you ought to wear proudly.
Oh, we do. We try to stay up with everything that we can. Just like I said, that way you never know what's going to happen, but you don't have to worry about whenever that time does come because you know you've taken all the precautions that'll protect you whenever anything does happen.
Now, AJ, what got you started in racing?
Whenever I was younger, my dad was racing, and I got to go to the track with him each week if I did well in school and all. And I eventually said, "Hey, I want to do that," and so got into karting. And we actually purchased all our equipment at the time from Trevor Bain, who's obviously now in NASCAR, and his father, Rocky, was the one that got us started on the safety and was said if he's going to race, he needs to wear the fireproof underwear and everything, the head socks. So he's really the one that got us started on the safety, and since day one, we've always been about the safety and been running, doing safety with the karting, the Legends, and now the dirt late models.
Now, when you moved up from the karts and the Legends cars into the dirt late models, that's a pretty big step, isn't it?
It was a big step. You know, we went from a 3-link car on asphalt to the 4-link car on the dirt, and it was, I mean, we're still learning today. There's still a lot that's so different from the asphalt, and we're always learning something new and better adjustments and everything that goes along with the dirt stuff. It's just a lot different from asphalt, but we enjoy it.
I think one of the things that has really got me in watching you is you are really even-tempered. You see some drivers, you know, they get bounced around between a couple of cars and it brings out the animal inside of them, and they turn into some kind of raving lunatic, and they go screaming up through the field, bouncing off everything else. You have a more methodical approach, and that only comes from a lot of seat time, not just in a dirt late model, but you know, as you said, in karts and in Legends cars. As you grow as a driver, what some of the things that I guess some of the things that other drivers don't realize is that level-headedness, thinking about things before you do it, that goes a long way, don't it?
It does. You really just got to take each lap with at its own approach. I mean, anything that happens, you got to let it be like the water off the duck's back. You don't worry about it, otherwise it'll ruin the entire rest of the race for you. So really, you just take it in stride and you keep going and making all the passes you can. And if you get bottled up, then you just regroup and go at it the next corner. And so you really can't let it phase you and get to you in the head, because it'll just ruin your overall night if you let it.
Oh, I agree. Now, you know, for a lot of people that come to Boyd's, you have seen the man himself, Mr. Gene Dover. Before the races, he'll break out the fun bus and take a lot of fans on a few laps around the racetrack. And we usually take them through the pits and introduce them to some of the drivers. And one of the stops that we have started making on a regular basis is the 00 car of AJ, getting some of the drivers, some of the fans to get back there to meet AJ and kind of get to know him a little bit. He's a little quiet, but hey, he's always willing to come out and spend time with the fans and give them high fives, and the kids all love him. And you know, it's fun when you get to see drivers interact with the fans like you do and take that time. Is it hard on you? I mean, because I know you're kind of a reserved, shy guy, but is it difficult for you to get out there and press the flesh with the fans?
No, it's not, because you really gotta remember that the fans are the reason why you're there. If it wasn't for them and their support each week, we wouldn't be able to go out there and do what we do and do what we love. So you just gotta give back to them, spend a little time, talk to them, and keep them happy, keep them coming back each week. So that's really the main thing with the fans and all. Just make sure that they know that they're appreciated.
Well, you know, I can tell you this. Quite a few times that we have stopped by your pits, and you've always come out and spoke with the kids. And when we leave your pit going somewhere else, it never fails. You can ask Gene Dover. It never fails. A couple of the kids on the bus always say, "Hey, he was pretty cool. I like him." So, you know, you're developing fans, you know, and you're kind of a man of few words, but when you come on the fun bus and you meet these new fans and these youngsters, you spend time with them and you give them that personal, that little personal talk. You know, you'll look at them, say, "Hey, how you doing?" Give them a high five, a fist bump, you know, and that goes so far with some of these kids nowadays that don't really have what you would say a role model to look up to. But when they see somebody like you, and they see you out there racing and that you're a clean cut kid and you're a good guy, they flock to you, and you know, you it won't be long, you're gonna have a whole cheering section of your own up there.
Yeah, that's what we shoot for. We hope we can keep them happy, and hopefully our on-track results keep them talking as well whenever they go home and say, hey, we want to go back next week and we want to watch him again. That was fun. So that's really our main objective, and just keep them entertained and keep them excited and happy about what's going on the track.
Well, you know, AJ, I think one of the things that has always got me, and it's, you know, every time I do a autograph session or a meet and greet, you know, I always thought to myself, you know, this is going to be cool. You know, all the kids are going to get to come out, and the fans and the kids are going to get to come out and meet their drivers, you know, their favorite drivers, the one they cheer for week in and week out. And, you know, I think that's going to be cool for them. And then I get to watching it, and it's like, man, the drivers have just as much fun at these things as the kids and the fans do. It's fun to get out there and meet them, isn't it?
It is. It's fun to get to know what they think of everything and how they view the racing. And if they're having fun, then that just makes it all the more fun for yourself and all, to see those excited fans out there.
Well, now, AJ, are you gonna run crates again next year?
Yes, we're gonna stick with crates for a couple years, just to that's really it, more in our budget right now, and then also until we really get that track time and experience where we're up front, then we're not ready to move up. We always try to get to the point where we're always in contention for a win no matter where we go before we try to move up. That way we just always make sure we're in the best position for success.
Well, I think that's an admirable thing right there. There's a lot of drivers that could learn from that. I've seen a lot of drivers step up way too soon, get in over their head, and then they kind of back up and they're like, well, man, I spent a lot of money on that. And racing within your budget is something that is admirable too. A lot of people don't do that. You know, a lot of people don't realize, hey, there's no budge in my budget. You know, this is what I can afford. This is what I'm going to do. And by staying within your budget and racing where you can, and where, you know, on the level that you can, it makes your racing go a lot farther, don't it?
It does. I mean, we've raced with a bunch of people back in karting and all, and that's really moved up quick, and then all of a sudden they're not doing it anymore just because they've run out of money, or they've just taken the fun out of it because they've moved up too quick and not had the success. And we'll come across them every so often after a couple of years, and they're like, man, wow, y'all are still racing? And we're like, yep, sure are. And it's just because we've stuck to that budget, to what we can afford. We've not outspent ourselves. That way we can make sure we get to the track each week and have a good chance at having a good solid run, and hopefully get up to this run and get some wins this coming season.
Well, now I know that you know, racing is a serious job. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't understand the work and the effort that goes into it, and you can't do this by yourself. AJ, who do you got helping you on your car each week?
Well, just each week it's just me and my dad. We do all the work ourselves. We do as much as we can, and we put in countless hours each week, and even all throughout the winter, we're always working, trying to improve ourselves. And then aside from that, we've got the Oakwood Cafe with us. They've been with us for a long time. We got Gentech Construction, and so we've got a couple backers, but really we take pride in doing all the work ourselves versus paying other guys to do everything for us, just because if we did that, we wouldn't be able to be here for as long as we have been, just because we can't afford that always. So it's fun to do it ourselves, and whenever we see that on-track success, that just makes it all the more worthwhile.
Now, you know, you mentioned that your dad, Brian, had raced for a lot of years, and you had went and followed him. Do you feel that you know, do you feel that brings you and your dad closer together as father and son, your involvement in racing?
Most definitely, because ever since I started racing when I was about 5 years old, and so ever since then we've always put in countless hours in the shop together. We're always together throughout the week, you know, just working on the car closely and always talking on the phone, what can we do to improve this or improve that. So it's kept us close overall. all these years, and really always gives us something to talk about no matter what. We can always talk about racing and have a great conversation to go to no matter what kind of mood anybody's in. So that's really kept us close.
I think that one of the things that I admire the most about families that race together is the bond that it generates between, whether it be father and daughter, like Natasha Stokes and her dad Grady, or father and son, like so many of them, brothers racing together, like the Clark bunch, the Tunnel Hill Mafia. They all race together and they work to help each other and to support each other. And it's good to know that if you get out there and you have a rough night, say you miss the setup or you're not where you need to be, when you come back in the pits, it's always good to have that familiar face there to pat you on the back and go, hell, we'll get them next week, won't it?
Oh, exactly. You can always come back and know that they're going to be supporting you, and you're going to be able to work together to figure out what went wrong that night and to be able to improve yourself for the next night.
Now, I don't want to shortchange anybody, but when you look at the program that you have got, you and your dad Brian, you do a lot of work. You do all the work yourselves. You've got a few sponsors that help you out here and there, and you have a program that a lot of people could buy into and learn from, because you race within your budget. You race within your skill set. If you get out, you don't drive over your head. And that's one of the things that has impressed me about you, watching you and calling the races that you're running in, is you're always out there. You're competitive. You get out there, you give it your best, and you do a great job. And I want to tell you that it's a pleasure to call a race that you're in.
Well, I do appreciate that. We always try to put on the best show for everybody that we can. So to hear that you like to call the races with us, that's good to hear.
And I learned how to say your name a long time ago.
Yes, that's one thing that's always gotten the announcers with our name. So to hear it pronounced right from the get-go, it seems like for as long as I can remember there at Boyd's and North Georgia, Cleveland, anywhere you might have been, that's always been fun.
Well, buddy, man, we're up against a commercial break, and I'm going to have to let you go. But, AJ, man, you got an open door to the show. Anytime you step up your program or you have a good run, you let me know, and we'll get you back on here, and I'll have you back on. We'll talk about safety one night. How's that?
Oh, that sounds great.
All right, man. AJ, good luck this week or next weekend when you go racing, and looking forward to seeing your name close to the top of the list coming up in 2017, man. You guys keep getting it. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, Mitch. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right, man. AJ Carlisi, driver of the number 00 crate car, running around here, Boyd's, North Georgia, all around this area. Always does a great job and a super nice guy. I mean, you're really hard pressed to find somebody nicer than AJ. All right, we're going to step out and take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some ideas. So don't go nowhere. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
The odds of a young girl being discovered by an industry insider while singing to herself pumping gas. 1 in 300 million. The odds of a daughter of a clergyman from Severn, Maryland, spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts. 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 7 Grammy Awards. 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of selling over 40 million records. 1 in 800,000. The odds of this musician and performer having a child diagnosed with autism. 1 in 68. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Eric Darnell.
This is David Reagan. Jamie McMurray.
This is Carl Edwards here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety.
Want to make a difference? It's simple. Be responsible.
Plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate.
Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, your authority on motorsports of all types. Be listening for the most accurate and up-to-the-minute coverage of every motorsports activity that you enjoy on a daily basis. Be it NASCAR, be it IRL, be it Formula One, be it drag racing, be it dirt track, off-road, props, hulls, whatever. We are your source for motorsports. Performance Motorsports Network.
Just the facts and none of the bull. It's the Monday Night Results Show with the doctor, only on the Performance Motorsports Network.
All right. We have had lawnmower racers, drag boats, super late models, crate late models, hobbies, pony stocks. We've had lady drivers, men drivers, kid drivers, front-wheel drive drivers, sprint boats, jet boat drivers, and navigators. We've had promoters. We've had tech men. We've had safety crews. We've had photographers. We've had announcers. We've had a couple of NASCAR drivers. There has been just about everybody involved in motorsports on my show. We have called the results for countless racetracks all across the country. We've even had a few results from Australia. We have run the gamut. And there's this word called change. It happens. One of the things that we want to focus on is change. You look at anybody's racing program, anybody who stays the same and don't adapt to change gets stagnant. And when we first started this show, and we're coming up on my 3-year anniversary here at Performance Motorsports Network, when we first started, it was always has been the Monday Night Results Show. We brought the results from the weekend before's races. We brought them to the listeners each and every Monday night. When we first started, it was almost exclusively nothing but results. Occasionally, we would have someone who had done really good that weekend, done something amazing. We would have them on the show as a guest. Then over time, we kind of followed the natural progression of things, and some of the safety issues came up. We addressed some of those. NASCAR kind of took a weird turn a couple of times. I addressed those. Over the past 3 years, we have had a really, really super duper ride. And I'm not saying the show's ending. Don't worry about that. What we want to do, I think Monday Night Results Show has run its course. Results are available anywhere you want to look. Yeah, it's kind of cool when you hear your name called on the radio show. And yeah, we'll probably still do some here and there. But I want to take the Monday Night Results Show in a different direction. I have listened to the listeners. I have talked to the listeners at the racetracks here and there. Change is inevitable. I want to know, and you can post this on my page. You can send it to me in a message. You can put it on the Monday Night Results Show's page. However you want to get it to me, send it to me. I want to know what you want to hear. You want more interviews? You want more results? You want more opinion? You want more news? Whatever you want to hear, I want to hear about it. And also, something to be thinking about. Everyone has a New Year's resolution when the first of the year comes around. Well, I want my New Year's resolution to be a new name for the Monday Night Results Show. So, in the next month or so, we're going to keep this going. I want to hear your suggestions for what we should name the show. I am looking at a couple of co-hosts that we are going to be bringing in on a pretty regular basis next year, looking to shift gears and see if we can't improve the show. So I'm wanting to hear each of the listeners. I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear your thoughts. If you don't want me to change nothing, tell me. If you got something you want to hear changed, let me know. And we're also, as we shift gears and move forward, we are looking for sponsors for next year. If you want to sponsor a segment, you want to sponsor the Pledge of Allegiance, you want to sponsor the results for a particular track, we can make all that happen. And we can make anything to fit your budget. So, but we are seriously looking for sponsors for next season, next year. Come on board as soon as you want or as late as you want. But we're seriously looking for some sponsors for the Monday Night Results Show, and we're looking to kind of shift gears and change directions. And I want to hear your input. We want to talk about it. It's the things that make you go, You know, I mean, we have really pushed safety. Safety has been really important to me. It's one of the things that I think we need more of. We created the Safety Equipment Exchange. We promote that as often as we can. The Motorsport Safety Committee, that is back on track. We are working on that as well. There's a lot of things that we want to bring you, the listeners, but I want to hear what you want. This is your show. I just kind of, ride along and bring you what I think you want to hear. And sometimes you guys will send me ideas. You'll send me questions of things that you want to know about. When the CMT done the NASCAR thing where they told the story of NASCAR, the Legend of Speed or whatever it was called, I got about 20 phone calls about what crap that was. And one of those phone calls came from the legendary man himself, Mr. Bill Blair. And we brought Bill Blair on, and we done a 2-hour NASCAR show. Some of the highest ratings of any show I've ever done. And got some of the most positive feedback of any show that we've ever done. So, if that's what you want to hear, okay. I'd rather stay away from NASCAR. I will hit NASCAR over the top of the head on a regular basis. When they do something stupid, I'm going to call them on it. Just remember, I call things the way I see it. If you don't like it, well, I'm sorry. I call it like I see it. If you want it sugar-coated, Go on down to Krispy Kreme because they sugarcoat them donuts every day. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I call it like I see it. I have called out my boss on this radio show. Ask Jason Jones. He'll tell you. Ask Chip Burke. He'll tell you. You know, I have raked them over the coals and then turned around and still shake hands with them. Because criticism is one thing. Constructive criticism is another. And if I'm going to bitch about something, I'm going to have a way to fix it. So if you've got a way to fix it, it's not really criticism. It's just bringing something to their attention. I think one of the things that people like, and this is based on what I've been told by the listeners, is there is no format to this show. We do commercial breaks, you know, every 18 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. Other than that, we fly by the seat of our pants. We have a good time. We laugh, we joke, we cut up, we bring you information. If there's something that requires a serious tone, then we'll go serious. If we lose a racer, God forbid, we do a tribute to them. And if there's a event that is going that helps promote racing, we do it. You know, we started the thing a long time ago. I'm not real hip on Twitter, but I am pretty hip on that hashtag thing. And I started a thing called Racers Helping Racers. And then they throw the little hashtag in front of it. So it's hashtag Racers Helping Racers. And that is what we have lived by. We are racers here on the show. And if there's some way we can help another racer, you know, we do what we can. We get guests on the show, drivers. If that helps them land sponsors down the road, more power to it. You know, that's what we do. We try to help the little guy. I'm not out here looking to get Bloomquist on my show or Jimmy Owens. I'm not looking for them. I'm looking for the little guy, the grassroots racer. That's the one I want to promote. That's the one I want to build up. I want to give them the glory that everybody else gets. The legendary Jimmy Mostedler, announcer for the Have a Tampa series, said something that I have patterned my show after from day one. I heard him say something in an interview. He said, the guy that finishes dead last in the lowest support division at a racetrack paid the exact same amount of money to get in the pits that night as the guy who won the super late model race did. He deserves the exact same recognition. And that's what we have tried to do. We have tried to give that recognition to the little guy. The little guys don't get much love, you know, but here on the Monday Night Results Show, that's what we focus on. That's what we want to bring in. So get those ideas flowing, send them to me. It might come next week. It don't matter. Send it to me as it comes to you. All right. I want to thank all my guests for coming on tonight. It's been a great show. Time has really flown by, but it's that time. They're waving the checkered flags at me. We're going to roll on out of here. So each and every one of you have a super duper week, and make sure you mark your calendars down to go racing somewhere this weekend. It's been the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, and you'll find us exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network. See ya.
Y'all ready for this? The Monday Night Results Show is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network. www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com, a member of the Scorpion Radio Group, Inc., and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section on the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-host, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either PMN SKPN or Scorpion Radio Group, Inc., the advertisers or the marketing partners. If you would like to hear the results from your local track, or you are a track owner or a promoter and want us to cover your venue, give us a call during normal business hours, 717-749-0444. IM us on our Facebook page or email us at performancemotorsportsnetwork@gmail.com. Be listening again next week as we are talking results on the Monday Night Results Show with the Doctor. For the Monday Night Results Show, I'm Big Mike.